You are listening to the Ranges Podcast.
2015 just had wrapped up the Night and Day show. Played our first live show. Went over well. Was a good time.
It was.
And I don't remember how soon after Night and Day that we sat down and discussed the idea of adding new members to the band and making it an official lineup.
It was actually within a month.
Yeah, it was right after. Had Ethan play bass and Joey play guitar.
Right.
For Night and Day. And
we had Mario as well, but
Yeah.
Mario was kind of busy with other things.
He had his own band. Yeah, it just made sense to
Made
add
the
those.
offer.
Yeah. So
Guys want to be in the band.
Right. We went to our spot, which was the Corner Club.
That's right.
Four Corners.
Mm-hmm. If you're ever in town, we'll take you there.
Yep. If you want to join the band, that's where we would meet up and you can join the band.
Boneless buffs.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we met there and sat outside. I remember that and pitched the idea. Joey was in right away, and I feel like Ethan was in right away. I think they probably knew what was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why else would we
invite
them to a thing?
They didn't think it was a date.
Yeah. Yeah. So we added them to the band, and then it was time to get to work on new music.
I don't know if it was you or you and Wilson or Wilson to you, but one of you was aware of the Paul Harvey speech.
Yeah. Okay. So the concept of the next thing was based off of Paul Harvey's speech.
Right.
If I Were the Devil. And I had been working at Gibson leading up to July 2015. And at Gibson, you have headphones on all day listening to music.
Right.
Because
perk of the job.
Yeah. And so there became a point in time, this was probably actually years before when I was mowing lawns in the summer. I just got tired of listening to music. And so decided to find a radio station and found talk radio and got way into just the show I was listening to, teaching American history and just a lot of things about the country and politics and things like that, and just killing time at work listening to this stuff. And through listening to this show, I learned about this Paul Harvey speech and learned about, there's so many different things, from Babel to People Cried Out for a King. Like a lot of our album concepts came from things I learned through this radio show.
Right.
Which was kind of cool. And the Paul Harvey speech was from 1965. If you don't know it, then you've never heard our song "If I Were the Devil." Because the idea was to take that speech and put it over music. Right. And we felt like the speech itself was pretty timeless. Talking back in the 60s, talking about the shift in culture and
certainly sounds like it was a prediction of what's to come.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been 10 years now since If I Were the Devil came out, and Paul Harvey's speech still rings true.
Yeah.
The idea was to take Paul Harvey's speech and do a voiceover over music. That was just the idea. So do you remember writing the song?
Yeah.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Did we all get in a room?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So good. Tell me what you remember.
Well, the speech was the main thing, and then we wanted to try to create something that would be essentially, it went along with what we talked about the last time too, as far as licensing goes, as far as creating music that fits a narrative. So I think that's why we were going to try to just come up with a song, a sound that would fit the story, the piece, the spoken word.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain that you had a guitar line, and then I just started putting something down and kept it kind of simple, and it was an easy track to let the new members kind of dip their foot in the recording.
Yeah, which ultimately was the point of that.
Yes, and also not too big an ambition as doing an entire new record right off the bat.
Right.
Just let's get a single down and get that out.
Right.
And then work on the next record.
Right. Yeah. Write a song, go through the recording process, and just make sure everything worked before diving too far in with those new guys.
Right.
And I don't remember writing it, so it must have gone together quickly.
Yeah, it was.
Smoothly and was good.
I think we did it in a day.
Yeah, probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did it in a day, recorded it in the studio that I had in my basement where we'd recorded everything else and mixed and mastered it ourselves. It just made sense to not spend money on recording or mastering elsewhere. Just did it in-house.
Well, and you had a legit studio down here, which gave us the opportunity to experiment without having to worry about being on the clock.
Right. Yeah, and I remember when we were doing Night and Day, and we had other bands come in and write songs to fit the concept. This was the first time that I was introduced to reverb.com.
Oh.
I'd never heard of reverb.com before, ever. And it's like, it's this marketplace for used music gear. So that opened the whole music gear world up to me because I had no idea. I was always buying new stuff and didn't really think much about pedals because I had pedals from when I was in Destroy the Map back in the day and just was using those. So it was like a Hall of Fame reverb, a DD20 digital delay pedal, and that was kind of it. And so then when I learned about reverb.com, I was like, okay, there's lots of pedals out there that I need to dive into and make more new sounds with new pedals and like dive into that world because that's post-rock bands and pedals go hand in hand.
Yeah, and wasn't Joey, the gearhead that he is?
Yeah, and that too. Yeah, and so I don't remember if it was for gods or what, but I knew at that point that I had started to think about pedals more and to try to expand what I had and be a little more experimental on that end of things and finding sounds and sounds that would become what ranges would sound like. Yeah, and then as far as like our gear at the time, I know that you were playing my drum set, right?
Yeah, the Mapex.
Yeah, which was when I worked at Gibson. I'd won a Gibson guitar,
right?
And then sold that, got the money, and then went to Musicville and bought
a drum
Mapex.
kit.
Yeah, from Paul. Yep. So you were using that.
Yeah, I was using that one because the kit that I was using on the bar gigs that I was doing was that Ludwig that were kind of smaller shells and kind of a more higher frequency than it wasn't really the right sound in the studio.
Right.
So you decided to get a kit for the studio.
Right.
To have a studio drum kit. So we got, bigger kick drum, bigger toms.
Did you use your kit for Ab Soroka and Solar Mansions and Bonhoeffer?
Oh man, no, I used mine for Ab Soroka.
Yeah, it must have been in 2014 that I got that kit.
Maybe, yeah. I feel like Solar Mansions might have been on the Mapex.
I think it might have been, yeah. But anyways, we had went in together into Musicville and you picked that kit out.
Yeah.
And yeah. And then as far as like guitar amps and stuff, I had that Fender DeVille that I was using.
Oh, right.
Joey had a Black Star that he didn't like. He thought he wanted to like it, but never really liked it. And then Ethan had that Mesa Boogie bass head that was so heavy. You remember that thing?
No. Oh, yes.
So heavy.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Unfortunately, I had to lift it a couple times.
Yeah. And then he had that 8x10.
Okay.
That cab right there that we still have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think adding those guys in the band, it was like new gear, and it was inspiring to like, okay, let's think about gear more than we ever had before.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember using anything new on If I Were the Devil, but I knew we would start to think about that.
Well, yeah, we were trying. We were getting more into it and trying to think about how to develop our sound. I mean, because we were so new into the genre, I guess, on the first go around.
Right. So it was kind of around this time too that we started the rangesmusic.com. We actually made a website.
Oh,
I don't remember what it looked like, but
no idea. Well, yeah, and we were only doing digital at the time.
Yeah.
And If I Were the Devil was only a digital release, wasn't it?
Digital, and we had that shirt, the snake shirt,
right?
Which is your favorite ever.
Yeah,
and it's pretty solid.
Yeah, that and the Tower of Babel shirts,
solid,
top shelf merch.
We may or may not be bringing that snake shirt back.
May
or may not be relevant to this year. As a hint.
Maybe I don't know. It's a crazy world we live in.
Maybe something on the horizon.
I don't know. Maybe.
So we put If I Were the Devil out on December 5th. And I specifically remember that because it was a day before my second daughter was born.
Is that right?
Yep. I was in the hospital room with my computer, putting it up online.
Wow.
Getting it ready and putting out messages and stuff.
I'd like to thank Isley for being so cool about that.
Yep. She waited a day and came on the 6th. So
thank you, Isley.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just a digital release, and I don't remember the response initially, but I think that we had made waves with what we'd done before, that when this came, we had more of an audience for it, and people were into it. I think the first big thing that we hit was the Post Engineering. I don't know if you remember.
I do.
He's from Greece, and I can't. Serafianos, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember being in the hospital and having email conversations back and forth with him.
Oh, wow.
Because he had done Post Engineering, had done a compilation previously, and was seemingly a big deal in the scene at that point in time. So when we were digging for whatever we could find to promote the band, I mean, he was an avenue that I pursued and connected with, and he seemed to like the song and offered to put it on his volume 2 of Post Engineering compilation. Do you remember that?
I do vaguely remember. It's hard. I don't want to roll over small victories, but 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was 10 years ago. Yeah, and so then with that, making that connection, Serafianos, he also did a thing called the Inquisition, which was like an interview thing he did with bands. And so he had a bunch of bands that he'd interviewed, just like a Q&A kind of thing. He'd send us questions and we'd answer them. And do you remember the first promo photo we took as tied into this? Because we had to, he requested that we do a quick little video of saying, hey, we're Ranges and this is the Inquisition.
I do remember that. And
Yeah.
were we outside somewhere with like a mic stand out in a field?
Yeah, just across the street here, down by those old buildings.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's where that was?
Yeah.
It felt like so far away.
No, we walked right over there.
Good.
Yeah, and set the camera up, and the 5 of us stood and took our first promo photo as a band. Aside from the one we did do one for Solar Mansions that was way up by the mountains.
That one I remember was the 3 of us, me, you, and Wilson out on Spring Hill.
Yeah.
And it was just a vast.
Yeah, 3 little people standing out there. You could barely see us. Yeah, so for this one, it was our first let's look tough kind of promo photo, and
I didn't know
cool.
I didn't know we were there yet.
No, well, we weren't there yet. We were just trying to be there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, doing that little Inquisition video, I remember it was so hard not to laugh. Because as soon as you start laughing, we all start laughing.
Yeah.
And Joey would make a noise, and I mean that was always the promo photo thing, is trying to look tough, trying to look cool, and trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
So we got that out, and there was this whole questionnaire. The first question was, how did you come up with the band name? But my favorite, and I remember this is always like, what are your influences? What kind of music do you hear when you are at home? And just the differences that all of us have. Like, I've got Thursday, Brand New, Saves the Day, and then dropping like post-rock bands that I knew, This Patch of Sky and I.O. And then Wilson is all bands that see the larger picture and strive to create a cohesive and immersive entity under the banner of their band name.
What? That was his answer?
That was his answer. And then Ethan is Tool, Queens of the Stone Age, Black Sabbath, Les Claypool, Led Zeppelin, Waylon Jennings, and the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and Old Crow Medicine Show, and because he, played in a bluegrass band at the time too.
Yeah.
So we were.
Well, I mean, it's fine to be well-rounded musically,
right? And then Mark, his answer is the mountains, all genres.
Really?
Yeah, that was your influence.
Really?
Yep. And Joey was foxing.
Wow, he was down with foxing that long ago?
Yeah. And he dropped Caspian there. Yeah. And then, which is one album you can't live without. And mine was The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me by Brand New. Wilson's was Panopticon by Isis. Ethan was the Brown Album by Primus. Such a bass player. Mark's was Disintegration by The Cure.
Still holds
true. And Joey was The Moon Is Down by Further Seems Forever.
Wow. I don't even know if I've ever heard that record.
Yeah. And then first record you ever bought, mine was Dookie by Green Day.
Wow.
Wilson's was This Time by Dwight Yoakam.
Nice.
Ethan's was Countdown to Extinction by Megadeth.
Wow.
Yours was Destroyer by Kiss.
Yep.
And Joey's.
No. Joey's laughing in the best way. What is it?
He would laugh too. Joey's was he bought the Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead self-titled record on tape when he was like six or seven, just because the art was awesome. I remember that answer. That's solid.
That is great.
Yeah, it's just funny to see, thinking back 10 years, like trying to break into the scene, and I'm thinking like, how do I answer these questions to make us appealing to people? Like that's my angle. It's like, oh man.
Apparently you were the only
saying
one.
Megadeth and Joey saying Grateful Dead. Like, oh,
Kiss.
This is
Nothing to do with this.
Kiss. Yeah. But now, like, having found our sound and we know who we are and how we do things, like, all of the influences got us here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like something to be ashamed of in any way. But back then, man, it's like, oh, let's not say that.
Yeah, I mean, I told you earlier when I was working on a drum line that I was listening to this prog rock, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's the approach I need to take for this Ranges song.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to tell you which prog rock song.
Is it Primus?
You can guess. No, they're not prog.
Are they not prog? What is that? I don't know.
Primus is like their own entity, man. They're their own.
I just know
world.
Every bass player ever likes Primus.
Yeah, but they should, because Les Claypool is a genius.
Right.
He is a genius. And Primus is good. They're really good. I got to be in the mood. That's all. It's not really something that I go to as much as I used to.
All right. Well, that was If I Were the Devil.
Yep.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, subscribe to the Ranges Patreon to hear more episodes.